What up, guys? Reformed Stoic here, yet again with yet another video. Doing two today, but I think I'm gonna start keeping like kind of a back catalog. It's too late. It's gonna screw up my sleep even more if I release this tonight. So maybe I'll release this tomorrow or the next day, or just not. But I feel like absolute crap right now, man. I am just like zombified. This is kind of almost 2 weeks straight now that I'm just having trouble getting it together, man. These days keep misfiring as wrinkles is biting at my ankles, which isn't really helping. I think we're going to go venture into the studio and get the spray, because this is really annoying and distracting. But yeah, it's just really been one thing after the other, guys, and it's not really manifesting as sadness. It's manifesting as I just cannot focus or do anything. Like, I don't feel like listening to music, and I just like scroll down 4chan and then scroll down YouTube and then refresh. I mean, I just can't like do anything right now. I am completely fried. I'm sober, I don't do any drugs. Y'all know that. So, embarrassingly enough, sorry if you don't want to hear this, when I relapse, the only thing that I can relapse on is cranking it. So, sorry if you didn't want to hear that. But I am still making progress in that. In fact, I've made so much progress that basically it ruins my day if I crank it. Like, and the weather has been crap for going on 2 weeks now. So, you know, the weather being crap kind of sets my dopamine back a little bit, and then the dopamine being set back makes it a little bit harder for me to refrain from cranking it. And then when I crank it, it just ruins the day, and I'm basically just trying to kill some time right now so that this day can be over so I can have another chance tomorrow, because I am just shot, man. I cannot read. I cannot listen to music. These are those times that I talk about on stream when I'm telling people, or in my advice videos, it's like, dude, sometimes you have to like force yourself to start a TV show or a movie. Like when you get, I guess this is basically depression, but like I said, it's not manifesting as sadness, it's just manifesting as like, I can't do anything. You literally get to a point where you like have to force yourself to watch a movie, as pathetic as that sounds. But I'm making this video, and I actually do have a topic, but I just figured I'd let you guys know, like, these last 2 weeks have just been kind of getting away from me, and I'm going to need to really, probably tomorrow, take a deep breath and force myself to get out of bed, force myself in bed tonight, force myself to get 8 hours of sleep, force myself to, like, play drums for a decently long time, force myself to work out for a decently long time. Like, I need to have a good day tomorrow. Like, I need everything to freaking go well tomorrow. Make double sure that I don't crank it, but I've made enough progress with that to where I know that the first step is being productive. The first step is checking all the boxes. That's what puts me in the best position to have success with that. But I do have a topic in mind. And yeah, I'm watching other people like struggle with drugs right now. You know, people trying to get off of meth, people trying to get off of opiates, and they're struggling with that. You know, I'm either seeing people kind of like lash out in their sobriety or relapse, and I feel like a lot of people are struggling right now, man. And I feel like maybe we're on the verge of some sort of a mass awakening. Maybe not. I know that people are kind of stuck in this whole, think everything's just going to be a slow decline forever. But it gets to a point where maybe you need to have a little bit more faith in humanity than that, bro. And I know we're to a point where we kind of don't. I'll tell you who I don't have faith in is boomers. Boomers just don't get it, bro. I think we're having a mass awakening, except for boomers. Boomers will never wake up. But what's making me think this is that the left is getting woke on Israel. And I can't really go into any more detail than that. But it's kind of like the right is digging on one side of the tunnel and the left is digging on the other side of the tunnel. You know, the youthful right and the youthful left, or I guess you could say like the alt right and the alt left. But they're digging on these two opposite sides of the tunnel, and they're about to meet in the center, and it's over Israel. But yeah, ultimately, you know, conservatives support Israel. But clearly, there are some right-wing movements out there that don't support Israel. And it looks like the left overwhelmingly doesn't support Israel. On top of that, we got the loneliness epidemic. Everybody knows about, you know, just like it's not really worth it anymore to try hard in society. Money is just not really what it used to be. It just doesn't really go as far. Apparently some millionaire YouTuber like tried to prove that he could make $1 million in a year like without any capital, and he failed. Just kind of random little tidbit there. But yeah, just everything, man. The dating crisis and men leaving the workforce. And then kind of this looming idea that we're about to go to World War III because the machine is about to hit another cycle. The war machine is about to hit the next cycle. When there's a depression, it's time for war. It's time for that war machine to turn on and generate all this war money as they feed people into the fire. You know, it's kind of killing two birds with one stone. It's like killing these dissident men, these potential dissident men who could turn against the ruling elite while they generate money. And then, you know, then we go into another cycle where the economy recovers and then the sheep go back to sleep and pop out kids and everything's okay again. Well, you know, maybe instead of that happening again, we're about to have a mass awakening because nobody wants to die for this elite anymore. Nobody wants to fight these wars anymore, bro, except for the boomers. And man, I just had another discussion with my mom on the phone the other night, and it was really something, man. You know, just me just using my best stuff for the red pills to basically just like force my mom to accept all of the juicy red pills that I can't even talk about right now because it's YouTube. But, you know, just using my rhetoric, using my wits to say stuff that, like, if you don't have the right rhetoric, you're going to get yelled at or slapped or abandoned, or it's not going to be good. But I just spoke the truth, you know, and I did it in the right way. And it's just funny to hear like a boomer's reaction. Just, I don't think it's like that, or I don't think it's like that. It's just nothing, just no explanation. No reasoning, and you know, it just sounds like some sort of a Steven Spielberg. I feel like I hear Steven Spielberg, Hans Zimmer music playing while I'm explaining it. It's like, I've got the energy of like Kyle or Stan at the end of a South Park episode, you know, because I learned something today, and just nailing it, just dropping my best red pills ever. You know, maybe if society's not on the verge of a mass awakening, I'm freaking having an awakening. I mean, here I am, like my brain is like fried and depressed, and I'm kind of just like passively observing it, and like I don't even really feel sad. I just can't focus. I just like straight up cannot focus. It's like, okay, let's just get this day over, and after I record this video, I'm probably gonna like freaking force myself to watch Trailer Park Boys or something, because I am just shot, man. I am just completely shot. I need to take a deep breath and get my momentum going again. But yeah, it definitely started with the weather. Just 2 weeks straight of rain, bro. I can't do it. I can't wait to get the hell out of here, man. It's not normal. This island's not normal, bro. But yeah, she just had nothing. She had absolutely not a single argument. She didn't even try. You know, just that kind of entitlement for like me to be explaining like just off the cusp a thesis, like a vocal essay on what has happened to the West. And then my mom's reaction is, oh, well, yeah, I just don't see it that way. and then just nothing. And then I'm supposed to be impressed with that response. And then, I say, it's like, all right, well, don't tell me I'm wrong, because, you don't really have much of a response to it. And boomers don't have a response, and they don't care, and they don't agree. And it's like there's some sort of a program or something, or maybe it's not all boomers, maybe it's just my mom. I don't even talk to my dad anymore, but everybody other than boomers, who are the most, like, brainwashed generation to ever live in the history of existence, is on the verge of a mass awakening, bro. Because I'll tell you what, I guess kind of stereotypically this channel is probably filled with people who consider themselves right-wing, but if you haven't seen the big picture yet, you just gotta hurry up and see it, man. The bootstraps arguments are coming from the right-wingers, okay? Bootstraps arguments are coming from the right-wingers. Pro-Israel is coming from the right-wingers. Have you gotten to the point yet where you've realized, like, you're kind of not really a right-winger at all? And it doesn't mean you're left-wing either. I mean, first and foremost, as a Christian, you do have to accept that more often than not, it's right-wingers who are, siding with Christian policies, but the left is the ones who traditionally want to upset the establishment. Right-wing is traditionally in favor of the establishment. I mean, this is the Hegelian dialectic at play. They've taken the truth, chopped it in half, and given each party half of the truth, okay? Like, capitalism and capitalism and Christian values. Christian values is the truth, but capitalism is a lie. And then anti-establishment combined with humanism. Humanism is a lie, but anti-establishment is the truth. So it's kind of like in the Dark Crystal, where those, like, things with the four arms are, like, slowly marching through the desert to meet up and fuse with, like, the weird slimy things, and then they fuse at the end, and then they become these light beings. That's kind of like what's happening with the right and left right now, bro. We're about to meet in the center, and we obviously still aren't going to agree all around, but we're probably going to realize that we need to fight the establishment together, because we've been betrayed. The masses have been betrayed by the puppeteers, and we need to hurry because the puppeteers are about to send us to die in another war, so everybody who knows the truth can die so that they can, pump money back into the economy. And ultimately, it's usually the most virtuous people who die in the wars, like, ultimately the descendants. I mean, maybe part of the problem with baby boomers is they're the descendants of, like, cowards who didn't fight in World War II. Like, it's dysgenic. Wars are dysgenic. The strongest and bravest people go and die in the wars. That's not necessarily 100% accurate. I mean, that's a very pro-military view. That means that you think very, very highly of people who serve in the military, but these wars were drafts. These were drafts. Like, there's people talking about how, like, ultimately people were handpicked to die in these wars, and they might have handpicked the most conservative people, or just the best people to go die in these wars. So I'm kind of sold on the idea that wars are dysgenic, and then ultimately you get the descendants of cowards moving forward into the next cycle of the elite machine. And I don't know, humanity, like, it's up to you, because maybe World War III isn't coming, but maybe it is. And either we can have some sort of a mass awakening, and I don't even really know what that entails, bro. It's like, it doesn't start by fighting, whatever that means, because I don't really know how you fight the system, but it starts by stopping. Everything just comes to a halt. And that process has already started. People are leaving the workforce. Because it's the people that prop up the illusion that such a small number of people can do this to us. This idea that the 1% or like the 0.00001% can just enslave so many people. It's all an illusion, you know? If everybody just stops, if the police just stop and the military just stops and you just stop going to your jobs and everybody just stops everything. And I think the next logical step would just be all the people just go march up to, you know, Rockefeller's house or Klaus Schwab's house or whoever and just say, hey, you know what? We don't want to do this anymore. So, you know, there's 5 billion of us and 1 of you, and just give us all your money, you know, because we're not going to do this anymore. Everybody saw the videos on YouTube. Everybody knows, like, we're just done. Everybody in the world is just done doing this bullshit. So maybe this is a pipe dream, maybe not. I feel like a lot of people are tired. I feel like a lot of people are disappointed, and I do feel like I'm on the verge of at least getting on the path that I need to be on to kind of be above it all. That's not the right way to say it, but I've been on the outside looking in for a long time, and I made a video about that with that title, Outside Looking In. I feel like it's one of the more underrated videos on my channel. I put like a slideshow together and stuff, and it's kind of an out there concept, but just being okay with like not having a material life, you know, walking the walk, not being a material person. Basically, according to some people who are worldly, you know, you're like a broke, failed incel or whatever, but you're an observer, you read, you study, you train, you work out, you eat healthy, you live your faith. You know, me, I go to mass and pray the rosary and love my cats and stay informed, produce content, keep up on my drumming, and just do things that I love and just kind of exist and observe and make progress spiritually, intellectually, and musically, and produce art and content. And days like today, weeks like these last couple of weeks, you know, I've had a couple of like better moments throughout these last couple of weeks, but man, I have just been sinking into a slump since this weather has become what it is. And yeah, it's just kind of like giving me a little preview of what probably like a lot of people are stuck in right now. A lot of people are just stuck in this negative way, and it's kind of showing me like, hey man, like let's really get back to the schedule. Let's really get back to the routine. Let's really get back to the no-fap, because we're better than this, and I've already seen a better way of life than this, and it's just time for me to start ascending. It's just time for me to start ascending, man. Because I can't live like this. Like, this is just worthless. And I'm not sad, but it's like, wow, what am I even going to do? Like, I'm like giving into it. Just scrolling down 4chan, refresh, scrolling down YouTube. Like, I'm too depressed to even click on a video because everything looks boring. And there's no way to live, man. So, maybe it's time for me to make another video to try to, like, explain how I think you can defeat this stuff, if I haven't already made a good video on that. But yeah, I don't know, that's about as much as I can rant about it, guys. Just killing 20 minutes. I'd like to think that maybe we're on the verge of a mass awakening, because, you know, the internet has accelerated our ability to share information. And doesn't everybody get it? Doesn't everybody realize that we're propping up a system that's just using us and destroying us in the process, keeping us fueled with like trash, genetically modified food so we can make the rich people richer? I mean, the left knows that. The right wing knows that. These systems are designed to cut the population in half and pit us against each other. Middle class Antifa getting in fights with middle class Proud Boys in the streets. But it's the feds pulling the strings, bro. The leaders, the top dogs, creating all the battle plans are federal informants, bro. I mean, in the most literal sense with the Proud Boys, I'm sorry. Like, people who are all hung up on being a Republican or whatever, it's worse. I think some of these left-wing movements, like, aren't under control. I think some of these left-wing movements are not under control. The feds really put all their time and effort and battle plan against the right-wingers. Because initially, here's a big thought here. Yes, initially the right wing was more correct. So that's what we've seen since Trump's presidency is all of these articles and news specials on like the rise of the far right and the alt-right and the white incel terrorist. Okay, the feds and the government, they put all their chips into that. And now we've had like 5, 6, 7 years of the feds like doing everything they can to subvert and control these dissident right-wing movements. But look what's happening with the left right now. The left is spilling all over the streets, spurging out about Israel, man. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like I agree with everything that they're about, but you guys, it's like we're trying to create this human ladder to where we're all just like, you know, creating this big sloppy human pyramid. Just imagine like thousands of people like morphing together like in this ball of people that's like climbing on top to try to get as high as you can. It's sloppy, man. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like building a brick structure. But people are just trying to figure out what's next, you know? And the right and the left, we need to get over our differences, man, and figure out how we're going to disembowel the establishment. Because boomers are completely brainwashed, and they are getting old, and they are retiring, and they are going to die soon. And we're going to be left with this mess, man. And we're either going to play our roles, which some people's roles is being feds and military and police, and it's going to be your job to kill everybody who tries to do something. Everybody just needs to stop, bro. And we need to figure out, how are we going to put these people in their place who think that they can rule over us? Because you know what's happening. You know they're ruling over you. You know they want to go send you to die in their war. You know they want to replace you. So are you going to let it happen, or are you going to do something about it? It's up to you at this point, man. And ultimately, the left are the people in the streets, like, standing up for what they believe in, and right-wingers are in their basements, bro, getting brainwashed by feds. Like, that's the way that things ended up. So, I don't know, man. I just, I wasn't capable of doing anything other than, like, doom scrolling right now, because today is completely shot for me, so I figured I'd come just make this video. And I'm not, like, telling anybody to do anything radical. It all starts in the mind. It's not illegal to realize the truth. It's not illegal to understand this establishment that I think everybody already understands on some level. And the first step is definitely not anything radical. It's quite the opposite. It's you just stop. You just stop going to your jobs. You just stop voting. You just stop paying your taxes. You just completely stop, bro. And it's going to be a massive number of people. And then, you know, these like little tiny 1% who try to tell us what to do. I mean, it's like in Wizard of Oz when you see the guy behind the curtain. You know, we've seen the guy behind the curtain. So are you going to keep listening to the big head telling you what to do? Or are you going to listen to the big floating head of the Wizard of Oz telling you to go die in another globalist war? Or are you just going to say, you know what, like, there's so many more of us than there are of you. It's just time for this system to die, bro. Like, you brainwashed our parents, but you clearly weren't capable of brainwashing us. I mean, they clearly tried on like a different level, but it's just not working, man. Some people overplayed their hand. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years, over the next 3 months. God bless.